Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, which is my first video of the new year, and it is going to be my everything I crocheted in 2024 video. So I'm so happy. I hope everyone had an amazing holiday season. I definitely took a couple weeks off just to enjoy family and travel and do some different things. So I've really enjoyed my holiday. I hope you guys did too. And now we are here in 2025 and it's time to reflect on everything that we went through in 2024. And for me, we're just going to focus on these projects because I actually did quite a bit this year. Not as much as some, but what I could, I did. And I enjoyed every minute of this year and just learning different projects and different techniques and things like that. So excited to bring this whole thing to you all and show you everything that I made in 2024. So we're not going to waste too much time because I have about an hour before I have to drop my son off at school. There was a 2-hour delay, and so if you hear anything in the background, that is just him because, you know, So let's just go ahead and hop in before I run out of time. So the first garment that I did to start off the new year was one that I was finishing up from 2024 or 2023, excuse me. And that was this color blocked cardigan. I crocheted this using the Kobu yarn, and I love the yarn. It's like a bamboo cotton yarn. You're gonna see a lot of Kobu and a lot of Lion brand stuff, honestly, because it's just accessible. It's really easy to find, and because they're in the US, it's really quick and easy to ship. So, but I started out my year finishing up this cardigan, and we have a love-hate relationship. So I love the colors. I love what I chose. I just don't think I executed this as well as I could have. For starters, I wish if I do this again, and I probably will do it again, I will probably just do like regular granny squares instead of the way I set them up, which was to just stitch all the way up a panel and then, you know, make a bunch of panels and then sew them together. I just found the sewing together process, the stitching together, very cumbersome because I was working on the raw edge instead of like if you did a granny square, how you have the live stitches all the way around, the working stitches all the way around. It was that raw edge on the side, and I did not like seaming that together, especially because I was trying to do an invisible stitch, and that's just a lot easier when you're doing regular granny squares. And then also, I'm not a big fan of the placement of the squares and the colors because I did them in the panels. I really wasn't giving myself enough, I wasn't paying enough attention to where I was placing the squares. And so as I was making them, I found myself making the same color combination over and over again. So I had to redo it a bunch of different times to try to get it right. And then towards the end, I ran out of the green. And so it was sort of like where it was is where it stayed because I couldn't do anything. And then I also did shaping here at the neck. So I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of comes in towards the shoulders. And so because I did that, those center squares, that panel kind of had to stay there because they were just made to go there. And I also learned a lot of valuable lessons. Number one, there are certain projects that you do need to wait to the end to sew in your loose ends. So I was just trying to, you know, get as much of that because it's a color work project. I was trying to get as much as I could stitched up as I could so that I wouldn't have all those raw edges at the end. But I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that because when it came time to seam everything together, I lost track of what was the front, what was the back. And so things are certain certain of those loose woven in ends are kind of on the outside where they should have been on the inside of the garment. So a lot of learning lessons for this one. And I also don't like the cut. I don't like where it falls on my waist. It falls at a place that's, I don't normally wear things at that. I normally do cropped, or I need to do like a super long sort of cardigan, because just anything that stops right there at shirt length is just not attractive for me. It kind of makes me very boxy, so I stay away from things like that, and this was a reminder of all of that. But I do like the way it looks. I mean, if I had to rate it, I'd probably give it about a 6 out of 10. I like the way it looks. It's just not able to be, I just wasn't able to execute it properly. I also ran out of the blue yarn, so I had to switch to the tan at the bottom, and then I ended up having to do purple on the cuffs because I ran out of yarn, and I didn't want to have to buy more yarn because it already took enough for me to get through this. So yeah, that's this first garment of the year. It wasn't a success, but I do think it is very pretty. I just don't wear it. So also, I didn't add buttons. I didn't put buttonholes, so it's, you know, yeah. So then the next project that I got started on was actually a knit project. I usually have a knit project going at all times, whether I do anything, whether I complete it or not. They're normally more my longer winded projects, so but there's always a knit project going on somewhere in the background. But I decided to make this tank. I do not remember the name. Let me see if I can find. So this is the basic bralette pattern. I don't know if you guys can see it. The glare on that is probably crazy, but I got this pattern off of Etsy, and this is mostly what it ended up looking like. I did end up using the Trubu yarn from Lion Brand, and Trubu is just a bamboo rayon bamboo yarn, not a cotton, just a rayon bamboo. But I decided to test that out with this. It is not the yarn that you're supposed to use or the weight of yarn that you're supposed to use, but I just wanted to give it a try. And I actually really like it. I just had to make some adjustments. I think I had to go up a size because in order to make it work, but it still worked out really well because I'm kind of in between sizes on most size charts. So I did this. I did change the straps, and I did a garter stitch, sort of like a wider strap and like a garter stitch style, and I do like it a lot better. I hadn't knit any like real like garments, like shirts and stuff like that. Oh, well, I did actually. I tried one last year. That's a fail. That needs to be frogged. But I wanted to try to make a tank because I didn't have any knit tanks or anything like that. Summer seems to be more of a crochet season, but I wanted to try a knit, and I really do like this. I made it a little bit longer. So that was a bralette style, and this was, I will definitely leave the patterns and stuff down below if you want to give it a try. It is a great beginner's project, and it helped me understand the increases and decreases around the neckline a little bit better, so that when I want to make something for myself later, I kind of understand the process. So I was very happy with how this turned out. As you guys can see, it's very, very drapey. I have not worn it yet, and I haven't even blocked it. So the yarn, as you guys can see, this yarn feels amazing. It's definitely a summer type yarn. Yeah, I don't have any negative things to say about this or any complaints. It looks amazing. I would love to do another one and just make it like super long. And I think that would look really cute as well if it was like more of like a tunic length that you could wear with like some leggings. But I 100% love this right here, and I would definitely recommend it. Yes, highly recommend not only the yarn but also the pattern because it's a good one. So enjoyed making this one. It was very easy, pretty quick to whip up. And yeah, so the next thing after that I decided to make was I wanted to try to make a bucket hat. So I've made one in the past, a part of last year, but I didn't like how it was shaped, and I thought that because my hair is naturally curly, I thought maybe my hair was just kind of too much for the hat and the size it was. So I tried to make a bigger hat, and it was well, the hat in itself is a success, but it's a fail in the side. It was too big. It was too big, and I only made one row extra, but it's huge. Like, this thing is so big, so big on me, but it's cute. And I had in my mind, I had those hats that were you know, like those like wide rimmed hats that you see all those like really posh women on the beach wearing, or you know, out at the pool kind of. That was my idea, like my vibes for it. Obviously it's a floppy hat and it's got a wavy brim, but I was going for that kind of aesthetic, and I just don't think it quite paid off for me. It's way too big. But it is cute, but like I said, it's just too big. It's huge. It's huge, but it did solve my curly hair dilemma. But now I just don't like it because it just kind of flops on top. So I just think bucket hats aren't for me. They're just not for me, and that's okay. It's okay. Everything isn't for everyone. It's okay. You just move on and you find out what works for you. But bucket hats don't work for me. So that's this one. it's yeah, but it was still fun to make. It's just, it doesn't matter whether it's too big or just right. It just doesn't suit me. So that's that. So after I made that bucket hat, I feel like there's other things that I made, but I can't find them and I don't remember exactly. So we're just going to move forward as if those things don't exist because I don't know where they are. But the next thing that I made was this Bolero, I guess you call them. And I absolutely love this. This was made with a True Blue yarn. There's nothing about this that I do not love. It is so comfortable. The True Blue yarn, as I said, is super lightweight. It's super airy. You don't feel hot in this at all, but it is a nice cover up if you just want a little bit of that air not on you. I did make it a little long on the body, so where it sits, unlike a traditional Bolero, this comes down, as you guys can see, pretty low on the chest, which I like it. It's in a weird, awkward spot. Like, it needs to either be shorter or longer. That's kind of where it is. It kind of stops like right here. So it's not a bralette and it's not one of these high things. So I would definitely try to make this either. Honestly, I think it would look really good if it was just like a full-blown shirt. That would look amazing. So I kind of wish I had just made it into a shirt, but that's okay. And then also the arms are a bit big. I kind of overestimated the size of my arms, and the arms are huge. So they have this really kind of drapey, billowy kind of thing going on here, which it wasn't intentional, but overall it still looks really good. So I really do like this piece. I actually love it, actually. And this gets a lot of wear from me. So if you haven't done anything like this, I would definitely suggest it. And if you're looking for something to wear with like a warm weather, I would definitely recommend the True Blue yarn. It is very nice. It does peel a bit, but I did get a, what's that called, a shaver thing, a lint shaver, to kind of cut down on that, because a lot of my projects, now that I'm making a lot of clothing, it's getting a lot of lint and stuff. So that's just something I would recommend. And so along with that Bolero, I decided to make another one, and this one looks beautiful. It's so cute. So I used the Lily Sugar and Cream, and I don't remember the color. Actually, do I have some still over there? Let me check. So I used the Lily Sugar and Cream, and this is in the color Kelp, and it came out really nice. So this one sits the way I kind of intended the first one to sit, but you know, didn't execute it quite that well. But what I don't like about this is the yarn. I cannot stand. I will never buy Lily Sugar and Cream ever again. I have 2 cones, a whole cone of black and a whole cone of white. And honestly, I don't know what to do with it because I cannot stand this yarn. This yarn is probably the worst cotton, honestly, that I have tried. It's just stiff. I think this yarn probably goes well with like accessories and hats and things that you want to have a little bit more body, I guess, but I don't like it. It's just so stiff, and it's like, I feel like even when you stretch it, like you can hear it. It's just, I do not like this yarn, but boy, do these colors look good. They look so good. This took 4 skeins. 4 skeins. Actually, this was the 4th, and I've got about this much left, as you can see. So it took quite a bit of yarn to complete this project. And I mean, mind you, I'm like a extra large. So, you know, there's that issue when it comes to yarn, but just in general, it took quite a bit of yarn for me to get this thing done. And I would definitely recommend this sort of mesh style of Bolero. I think this is like it looks really good. I love this look. I do not like the yarn. So the yarn cuts this down a good like 3 points, like 7 out of 10, just because of the yarn, because I cannot stand the yarn. I don't like the yarn. But it was a good learning experience. I was so, y'all, I love this thing. I love the way it looks so much that I was like, I saw all these other colors and all these things, but I cannot get past this yarn. It's a no for me. So moving on to the next piece I made, and this was me kind of branching out into a little bit more of my creative spirit, and I decided to make this this shirt. I love this. It has a very retro vibe to it. I enjoyed making it. There's a video up on my channel, and this is made with 24/7 cotton. So it's a very heavy piece, and it's also a very stiff piece. I would say that is the only negative thing about making this in the 24/7 cotton, is that it's just stiff. And it's been washed, it's been steamed, it's been blocked, and there is just nothing that can be done to get the stiffness out of this. But boy, is she pretty. It is an absolute gorgeous piece. I do really, really like it. And it took a lot for me. This was a stressful project for sure. All of these granny squares, it took a long time, but it was worth it for the aesthetic at the end. But again, it is very stiff, and so it is not my favorite. So I would give it an 8 out of 10 if I had to rate it, just because it's not just the yarn in itself is just not really, it's not good for projects like this, honestly. But if you're trying to do like a shirt or something, I would stick with knitting. With 24/7 cotton. I would not suggest crocheting a garment with 24/7 cotton. It's just the way the fibers twist together. It's way too thick, way too bulky, and yeah. So I really like this piece. Loved it. Loved making it. Stressful making it, but overall, I loved making it. Would I make it again? In a different yarn. in a different yarn for sure, just to have that option available to me. But it is what it is for this one. But I do love the way it looks. It came out beautiful. And then as a sort of companion to that piece, I did actually make a bag using that same 24/7 cotton that I had. I had a leftover yarn, and so I made this bag here. And this was my first drawstring style bag that I made. Well, actually, I made a book bag once before, but I didn't execute it as well. But I absolutely adore this bag. It came out well. Another journey type of piece, because I was running low on this chocolate brown yarn, but I did manage to get it done, and I lined the inside. It was my first time lining a crocheted or knit any type of accessory. I've never lined one before, so this was my first time kind of hand stitching that lining in, and it looks really good. So I really enjoyed making this piece. It looks really good, like I said, as a tote, or also if you just want to wear it as a traditional bucket bag. It is made as like a shoulder bag. So this one I absolutely enjoyed making, and I don't have anything to dock off of this one. This one is 10 out of 10. Loved it, enjoyed it, and I would definitely make another one of these. So moving on, and believe it or not, that took me through half of the year, the bulk of the half of the year, actually, probably August, September, October, yeah, probably around October. So we're coming towards the end of the year, and actually I still have quite a bit of stuff over here. So as I started gearing up towards the end of the year, I started realizing like I had a lot of whips that were just kind of sitting out and I needed to get done. And I wanted to make my son well, after I made my shirt, the one you just saw with the granny squares and all of that, my son saw that shirt and he wanted a shirt that I made as well. And so I did make him a shirt, and this is the shirt that I made for him, and this is the Kobu yarn, and I just made this little sweater. It's got the little cables in there all over, and it just looks so good. It looks so good on him. He wore it to Christmas, and we wore it in our photos for Christmas. And so I added a hood, and this was my first time ever like making him a shirt or anything like that. So I tried to make it oversized. I wish I would have made it longer. I would say that was the only thing that I made a mistake on, is that I should have made it longer here in the body, but I didn't have enough yarn for that. So I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't. And I also made the sleeves just a bit too long. So they kind of flop at the end, but somehow that's like his favorite part, is that he can flop his little sleeves. But yeah, I enjoyed making this. This was really good, and I was trying to get it done here, and you probably just heard him, but so this turned out so well. I did not use a pattern, so this was just me kind of making it up on the fly, and I think I did really good. I kind of used the concepts, like I said, from that tank top, where I did the back just like one square panel, but in the front I kind of did reductions along the neckline just to kind of bring the front down a little bit. And then I, just made a hood, which this is just like one big rectangle. And then towards the top, I kind of did a little bit of reductions there so that it wasn't so pointy here on the end. But I think overall, I really like this. It looks so good on him. It turned out really, really well, and I'm happy that I did it. And because it was, sized for a 7-year-old, it was relatively quick when it comes to knitting and knitting a garment. So it would definitely not be as quick if I was trying to knit something like that for myself. Matter of fact, I'm working on something, and I've been working on it for months. So then the next thing I made for him was this little hat, and I just did this little hat on the Centro, which is right here, and it's so cute on him. And I added the little puff thing right here, and it's such a simple hat. If you guys ever watched Passionate Kelsey, she does a lot of these little hats, so that's actually where I got the sort of understanding of it from. I didn't watch a tutorial of hers, but she makes them on her channel so often that you can kind of gauge, you know, and understand. And so since my mom got me this a year ago and I hadn't used it and my son needed a hat, I just decided to go ahead and make him this little hat. And I have these little tags that I bought a while ago, and I just popped that on there. It's got my name, Cynthia Renee, on it. So it just looks, it looks so good. It's so cute. And so yeah, nothing really to say about this one. He's actually got to wear it today, so I'm gonna put that right there so I can put that back on him before we leave to drop him off to school. So, which I got about 30 minutes. So moving on to the next thing. And again, I sort of got stuck on the Centro for a little bit, and I saw some YouTube videos of some women making some color blocked garments on the Centro, and so I decided to give it a try. And so that is where I decided to go ahead and make this. And oh my gosh, I love this. I wear this all the time, all the time. I love it because of how long it is. It's like a great tunic length, and I just worked up, this is 3 panels in the front, 3 panels in the back, and I just switched up the colors, and the front and back are pretty much the same. So it looks so great. And then the sleeves, I did them in the round, and I have a 48 pin Centro machine, and so I just went all the way around. I wish they made this a little bit bigger. I wish they made like a 56 pin or something like that, so that the sleeves could be a lot bigger, because these sleeves fit me perfectly. I mean, there's barely any space left. Like, so I would highly like recommend, like, if your arms are bigger than mine, good luck to you, because these Centros, I think this is the biggest they get. But I was able to pull off the sleeves just barely, but I genuinely do like this piece. And so I decided to make another one, and this isn't necessarily in order, but I made a second one that I wanted to wear in the Christmas photos that my family took. I chose to do a different color block, so it's the same 6 panels, or 3 in the front, 3 in the back, but I decided to make longer rectangles and then these narrow ones. I just thought it would be just like a different look. So I did that, and then the sleeves, I just added a couple of little blocks in there of the green, or the brighter green color. So I really do like this one too. Again, these 2 sweaters get a lot of wear. I'm definitely going to be making a lot more sweaters. So the next things I made were sort of like an interim when I just wanted a break from trying to get through all of my whips and things. And so I decided to make this little headpiece right here, this little bandana. It's so cute. I wear this a lot. And I made it with the Trubu yarn, and it looks great. It looks absolutely great. I have no problems or complaints. I made it to go as like a pairing with this right here. As you guys can see, the colors are the same. The style is different, but the colors are the same. And yeah, it looks really good. Very simple piece. So simple that I decided to make another one, and I made this one with the green and the tan. So This one is also cute, like this one. Same yarn, the True Boo yarn. I just like how kind of silky and smooth it is, and I feel like if you have natural hair, it's a much better option than doing like a cotton or a wool, in my opinion. So this I love. And then the next thing I did was I made two pairs of gloves. So, well, one pair of gloves, said two pairs of gloves. And these are fingerless gloves. I always do fingerless gloves for myself every year. And so, you know, this year was no exception. I had to do a pair of fingerless gloves. And so that is what I made right here. Again, I didn't use a pattern. I did crochet this. This was using the Caron Cakes yarn, Caron yarn. And I think this color is like beach glass or something of the sort. What time is it?
Mommy, what time is it?
It's 9:30.
9:30. Well, my time still shows 9:27.
Close enough. Hey, close my door.
Okay.
So these are the gloves that I made, and I do have a tutorial that I'm going to be posting very, very soon on these gloves. I knit them up pretty quickly, depending on how fast of a knitter you are. I mean, you can knit this up in 2 hours or even less if you're a really expert crocheter, but these are really good, very good, timely this season, and they were, like I said, very easy to whip up. So definitely keep an eye out for when this tutorial hits, because yeah, I do love these gloves. So the next thing I've completed was this cardigan here. Now, these granny squares I made back in 2023, and I never used them. They just sat in my bin, and I just kind of told myself, this is the year I am going to finish it. And I did, and it looks so good. I absolutely love it. I found these buttons off of Michael's here, these wooden buttons, and so I added those buttons on here, and I think it adds a very nice sort of rustic touch and feel to it. I did my cuffs. I have one cuff that's slightly bigger than the other, but you know what? It is what it is. But I cannot wait to wear. I mean, I can wear it now because this again is 24/7 cotton. It was a long time coming, and it's like one of those things where, like, when you finally finish and you're like, why did it take me this long? Like, it shouldn't have taken me this long to do this, to get this done, because now that it is, I'm like, what? I just wasted like a year. It could have been done, but I don't know. It's like when you get to the end of a project, especially when you're making a lot of granny squares, and it just the project feels so big that you just stop. You know, and it's like you're almost there, you're at the finish line, but just when you see all of the granny squares stacked up, it just seems so big. And so it just took me far too long to get this done. So next to a year and a half after completing all the squares, I finally finished the cardigan. So, and it looks really good. I did the African flower here, and then just like your traditional granny square, and I just, you know, alternated those and made this cardigan. So happy. I absolutely love it, and I'm happy to finally saying that I finished this whip. So the next whip that I was able to knock out by the end of the year was this granny square bag. So this year was the year of the granny square, y'all. My goodness. But this bag turned out really cute. I whipped it up. It only took a couple of hours because I already had the square made, and again, 24/7 cotton. I had all the straps and everything, so here at the end I just had to put it all together. I added a little lining in there, and I made a little zipper right here, and overall I like it. I do wish I had inset the zipper because I thought I had zippers that had like the antique, as you guys can see, this antique gold right here for the finding here, this little loop. I thought I had zippers. I know I had a bunch of zippers that had that antique gold, and I must have thrown them away. because they're not here or they got lost in the move. I'm not sure. But so I had to use this tan that I had here, and it's just not my favorite. And it's also not long enough for the bag. So I had to add some white fabric to the sides here in order to make it fit. So it looks fine. It looks good. Like wearing it, nobody's going to be clocking that, but I notice it. So, but overall, I like this bag. I give it a 9 out of 10. I would definitely make another one. I might be like a bigger kind of tote, like a granny square style, but this is really cute. It's a really cute like throw on summer type piece. So I'm a fan. I like it. And again, something else I can honestly say I got done this year. So happy to have that one behind me as well. And so the last and final project that I was not sure I was going to be able to finish was another granny square that I had sitting in that bin for about a year. And it was this project. This is how it ended up turning out. I ended up making this little short sleeve shirt out of it, and I'm not that happy with it. Kind of sucks to end the year. This is the very last piece, and I literally finished it New Year's Eve, and I'm not happy with it. So the original thought for this, if you've seen them all over Pinterest, it's this willow, I think this is the willow granny square with and then they make a tank top out of it. And I don't know why, but I started second guessing it, and I should have just stuck with what was already in my mind, what I had already planned for, because not only did I take more time making more squares so that I could finish this to make it like this short sleeve kind of, I thought it was going to be like an off the shoulder kind of caftan kind of thing. But I mean, it's fine. It looks fine. It's just too small, because my original thought was to do a crochet as you go, like around, and just attach them all that way. And that would have given me more space. But because I was short on time and I was also short on yarn, which seems to be a trend for me to be short on yarn. Ugh. So I just didn't, I just did the flat slip stitch join, which looks good. I don't have any complaints about how I constructed this. It's just made for somebody smaller. That's unfortunate because it looks cute, but it doesn't have that sort of, it would look cute if it was just sort of oversized and just kind of falling off the shoulder. But on me, as tight as it is, it doesn't look right. And also the color and the pattern together, and it's tight, it looks very aged, and that's not what I was going for. So overall, like, I like the piece. It's just not made for me. It's made for me when I get smaller. So yeah, you guys, that is everything that I have made this year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what was your favorite piece. Also hit that subscribe button. And yeah, until next time, bye.